But I just feel like Messi, what he does with a football, he's just special.
It's an art form for him. He's not a mere athlete. In fact, when you talk to people about him, they compare him more to Mozart than to Maradona. Because it's
artistry.
It's artistry. It's beautiful. It's beautiful to watch. And he does things which you can't understand. He'll dribble past professional defenders who usually don't get beaten like that.
Assistència de Xavi, més capradeta per Messi, Messi, immens Messi, encara 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 Messi.
Thousands of players have tried to copy Lionel Messi. They've copied his highlights, his skills, his workouts, and almost all of them miss the one thing that actually makes him impossible to defend. Messi doesn't beat players because he has a secret move. He beats them because he sees, moves, and controls the ball differently from everyone else. The good news? Those habits can be trained. In this video, we're breaking down the real principles behind Messi's dribbling, why they work, and exactly how you can start building them into your own game. Let's begin. Here's something that should blow your mind. Messi is not fast, not by professional standards. His top speed has been recorded at around 32 kilometers per hour, quick for a normal person, but nowhere near the fastest in a league full of players hitting 34, even 36 kilometers per hour. He isn't tall either, standing at 1.70 meters, short for a professional athlete facing defenders built like tanks at 1.85 meters and above. So how does a short, not especially fast player consistently destroy bigger, stronger, faster defenders? This is the question that separates people who actually understand football from people who just watch it. The answer isn't magic. It's physics and it's repetition. Messi's advantage comes from change of direction speed, completely different from straight line speed. Straight line speed gets you from A to B fast. Change of direction speed is how quickly you can switch direction without losing control or balance. Picture two cars. One's a drag racer, built to fly in a straight line. The other's a rally car, built to corner and brake on unpredictable terrain. On a motorway, the drag racer wins easily. On a twisting mountain road, the rally car destroys it. A football pitch, especially in tight areas, is a mountain road, not a motorway. Defenders are trained to funnel attackers into straight lines, because that's where their speed and strength matter most. Messi refuses to give them that straight line. Researchers studying elite dribblers have found the best ones keep their center of gravity low and stable, with noticeably shorter first touches than most professionals. While an average winger might push the ball 2 or 3 meters away when running at speed, Messi keeps it within roughly half a meter to 1 meter of his feet almost constantly in duels. That might sound small. It isn't. It's actually the whole secret, and we'll break it down properly next chapter. One more thing first. The human brain, reacting to movement, constantly predicts what happens next based on patterns, usually within a fraction of a second. Messi's entire game is built around breaking that prediction. Every touch is slightly different from the last, so a defender's brain can never lock onto a reliable pattern. It's not accidental unpredictability. It's thousands of hours of training small, deceptive touches that keep defenders guessing, one touch at a time. Now here's where it gets really interesting, because the secret isn't a flashy skill move at all. Let's talk about it. Here it is. The single biggest thing separating Messi from every other dribbler in the world: extra touches. Not extra tricks. Extra touches. Watch most professionals dribble at speed, and you'll notice that when the pitch opens up, they take fewer touches, pushing the ball further each time to maximize pace. Makes sense in open space. Messi does the opposite in tight areas, and this is the part nobody talks about enough. When defenders close in, when most players would take a bigger touch to create room, Messi does something that looks almost lazy. Tiny, rapid touches, sometimes barely moving the ball 20 or 30 centimeters at a time. Why does this matter so much? Because every tiny touch is a decision point, a moment where he could go left, right, forward, or back. A defender reacting to Messi has to process a new decision roughly every quarter of a second. Compare that to a player taking the ball 2 meters in one touch, where the defender only makes one prediction and reacts once. Against Messi, defenders are solving a new puzzle 4 or 5 times per second. This is sometimes called touch frequency. Sports scientists studying close-quarters dribbling have found elite dribblers use significantly higher touch frequency in tight spaces than average players. It's not about how far you push the ball. It's how often you touch it, and how each touch disguises the next. Think of it like playing a video game against a friend whose every move is obvious 2 seconds early. Easy to beat. Now, imagine they change their move randomly every quarter of a second. Nearly impossible to predict. That's what defenders face against Messi. He isn't moving fast. He's moving unpredictably at extremely high frequency in a tiny area. There's another layer here. Because his touches are so small, Messi's center of mass barely shifts with each one. He's always balanced, always ready to explode in any direction, because he never fully commits his body weight the way a bigger touch forces you to. A big touch drags your body weight with it, leaving you committed and vulnerable for a split second. Small touches mean his weight barely moves, so he stays balanced constantly, ready to react. This is why defenders often lunge and completely miss, even when Messi barely seemed to move. His small touch, combined with a subtle hip or shoulder shift, was enough to send the defender's weight the wrong way. And once a defender commits to a tackle, their body physically can't recover in time. You might be thinking, surely defenders have studied this by now and found a counter? To an extent, yes. But knowing the secret and being physically capable of stopping it are 2 very different things. Even when defenders know small, rapid touches are coming, their nervous systems still can't react fast enough, because human reaction time has a hard biological limit, and Messi's touch frequency sits right at the edge of what that system can process in real time. So now you know the what: small, rapid touches at high frequency. But there's a second piece that makes this even more devastating, and it has almost nothing to do with the ball. Let's get into how Messi beats defenders without needing traditional skill moves at all. This is going to sound strange, but stay with me. A huge amount of what makes Messi so hard to defend happens before he even touches the ball. It's called scanning, arguably the single most underrated skill in football. Scanning is simply looking around the pitch to gather information before receiving the ball, checking defenders, space, and teammates. Researchers using video tracking on elite players have found top-level players, Messi among the most extreme examples, check their surroundings far more frequently than average players in the seconds before receiving a pass, sometimes multiple times within seconds. Why does this matter for dribbling? Because Messi already knows where the space is and where the defender is weakest before the ball even arrives. He isn't making decisions under pressure in real time. He's already made the decision. By the time defenders think they're pressuring him, he's 3 steps ahead, and all that's left is execution. This is worth slowing down on. Most young players are taught, control the ball first, then look up. Elite players do the reverse. Look up first, build a mental map, then receive the ball already knowing what happens next. Next time you watch Messi, pay attention to his head in the seconds before receiving a pass. It's constantly turning, checking the full back, the space behind, teammates making runs. It's a habit, not a talent, and habits can be trained. The second part of beating defenders without skills is body deception, or feinting, different from a scripted skill move. A feint is a small movement of the shoulders, hips, or head suggesting one direction while the body intends another. Messi is known for a tiny lean of his upper body toward one side that gets the defender to shift weight, right before he explodes the opposite way. This works because of biological motion perception, your brain's tendency to read body movement as a signal of intent. When Messi drops his shoulder left, a defender's trained brain instantly reads he's going left and shifts weight to defend it. Because his actual movement hasn't committed yet, when he explodes right instead, the defender is already leaning the wrong way and can't recover in time. Crucially, this isn't a memorized trick repeated robotically. It only works because Messi reads the individual defender in front of him, adjusting based on who they actually are, which is why it never looks scripted and never gets old for defenders to fall for. It's a live reaction, not a rehearsed routine. Then there's deceleration, genuinely fascinating. Most young players are taught that speed wins duels, faster beats slower. Messi's philosophy is often the opposite, that changing speed, especially slowing suddenly, is more dangerous to a defender than pure pace. When he decelerates suddenly right as a defender closes in, it forces them to decelerate too, to avoid overrunning the tackle. Defenders are usually far worse at reacting to sudden deceleration than attackers who initiate it, because the attacker knows it's coming and the defender is only reacting. That split-second gap, where the defender is still adjusting while Messi has already re-accelerated, is often exactly where separation happens. So, scanning before receiving the ball, subtle body feints that manipulate weight distribution and controlled changes of pace. None of it requires a single skill move. These are trainable habits, mental and physical, which brings us to the part you've probably been waiting for. Let's get practical. You know the theory. Small, high-frequency touches, scanning, subtle feints, controlled deceleration. Now, how do you actually train your body for this? First, non-negotiable. Train a low center of gravity. Strengthen your quads, hamstrings, and glutes, and train your ability to hold a low, athletic stance without fatigue forcing you upright, which raises your center of gravity and makes you easy to knock off balance. Try the athletic stance hold. A slight squat, knees bent, hips back, weight on the balls of your feet, holding that position while doing light touches side to side for 30 to 45 seconds. Boring, genuinely. But this unglamorous training is exactly what most players skip. Second, train touch frequency directly. Most players dribble through cones in straight lines with big touches to cover ground. Useful, but not what we're after. Instead, mark a small square, roughly 2 by 2 meters, and keep the ball moving constantly inside it using the inside and outside of both feet, a touch every step for 1 to 2 minutes without stopping. It should feel uncomfortably slow at first. That discomfort is the point. Third, train your weaker foot deliberately. A less discussed fact. Despite being famous for his left foot, Messi is genuinely capable with his right, comfortable using it for touches, passes, and the odd finish. A one-footed dribbler is predictable because defenders can force you onto your weak side. Spend at least a third of your ball work using only your weaker foot. It will feel awkward. That's expected. Fourth, train scanning separately from ball work. Before touching a ball at all, practice checking over both shoulders every few seconds while jogging. Some coaches have a partner randomly hold up fingers behind the player's back, who must call out the number without stopping. You can adapt this solo, forcing yourself to physically turn and check your surroundings every 2 to 3 seconds during any drill, building the habit into your nervous system. Fifth, train deceleration, not just acceleration. Set up a 10 to 15 meter sprint and practice stopping completely within a marked 2 meter zone, then instantly re-accelerating in a new direction. This builds the exact muscle control and body awareness behind that disorienting, sudden change of pace. None of this is flashy. None of it earns likes on its own. But every elite dribbler in history has built their game on unglamorous, repetitive training exactly like this, thousands of hours of it, year after year. If you take nothing else from this video, take these 3. Habit 1. Touch before you think, not think before you touch. Train your first touch to be automatic rather than consciously planned. Messi doesn't look like he's thinking during a dribble because, after over 2 decades of professional football, his first 2 or 3 touches in most situations are automatic, freeing his attention to read the defender instead of worrying about ball control. You build this through thousands of repetitions of small touch patterns until they need zero conscious thought. Habit 2. Change speed before you change direction. Messi rarely changes direction at a constant pace. There's almost always a subtle change in speed, usually a slight slowdown. right before the direction change happens. It sets the defender's expectations at one pace, then breaks that expectation exactly when the real movement happens. When practicing, don't just drill the direction changes. Drill the pace variation right before them. Habit 3. Know your exit before you enter a duel. This connects to scanning. Before committing to a dribble, Messi already has a picture of what happens if it works and what happens if it doesn't. Where's the outlet pass if it stopped? Where's the space if it succeeds? This preparation happens seconds earlier through scanning, which is why the dribble looks instinctive rather than hesitant. Hesitant dribblers get tackled. Confident, prepared ones create far more successful actions because defenders can sense hesitation and react to it. Train these 3 automatic first touches, pace variation before direction changes, and pre-plan awareness before duels, and you'll see a real, measurable difference within weeks. Not because you're suddenly as talented as one of the greatest ever, but because you're training the actual mechanics behind the result, not just copying the visual. Now, what's probably holding you back right now? Mistake 1. Touches are too big. The most common issue by far. Players see Messi dribble at speed and assume bigger touches mean better dribbling. Find an open space, but near defenders, big touches push the ball away from your feet and hand them exactly what they need, a predictable ball to poke away. If you consistently lose the ball in tight one-on-ones, this is very likely your problem. Smaller touches, more often, closer to your feet. Mistake 2. Standing too upright. A high center of gravity makes you easy to unbalance and slow to change direction. If your back is fairly straight and your knees barely bent while dribbling, this is costing you more than you realize. Get lower. It'll feel tiring in your thighs and glutes at first, but it's one of the fastest fixes available at any level. Mistake 3. Only looking at the ball. Head down means you can't read the defender's body, the space around you, or your options. You're playing reactively instead of proactively. Practice dribbling with your head up as a specific drill, even if you occasionally lose the ball early on. The trade-off is worth it. Mistake 4. Relying entirely on one foot. If defenders know you always cut inside onto your stronger foot, they'll simply defend that side every time, and you become predictable no matter how good your technique is. Simple in concept, hard in practice, since training your weaker foot is genuinely slow and uncomfortable. Do it anyway. Mistake 5. Dribbling at a constant pace. Approaching every duel at the same speed removes one of your biggest deception tools before it even begins. Constant pace is easy to read. Varying, unpredictable pace, especially sudden deceleration, is far harder to defend and costs you nothing extra physically. It's simply how you use the speed you already have. Mistake 6, and this one's mental, hesitating before committing to a dribble. Take an extra half second deciding whether to dribble or pass, and defenders get extra time to close you down and set their feet. This comes back to scanning before you even receive the ball. Decide your plan in advance, and hesitation disappears, making your dribbling instantly sharper and more decisive, without changing your technique at all. Recognize yourself in 2 or 3 of these. Completely normal, and honestly a good sign, because now you know exactly what to fix instead of vaguely trying to get better. Let's put it all together into a structured plan, done 2 to 3 times a week alongside your normal training. Weeks 1 and 2, foundations. 10 minutes on the athletic stance hold with light touches, staying low and comfortable. 10 minutes on the small square touch frequency drill, keeping the ball moving constantly in a 2x2 meter space with both feet. Finish with 5 minutes of weaker foot-only touches, simple side-to-side and figure-of-8 patterns, nothing complicated yet. Weeks 3 and 4, add the mental components. Keep the same physical drills, but add scanning. While doing the touch frequency drill, look up and check an imaginary defender's position, or have a friend stand nearby and randomly move, calling out their location without stopping your ball work. Add the deceleration sprint drill twice per session, 10 to 15 meter sprints with a controlled stop and re-accelerate in new direction. Weeks 5 and 6, Combine everything into realistic one-on-ones. With a partner, practice duels in a small grid, roughly 5 by 5 meters, where your only goal is getting past them using small touches, pace variation, and body feints, not power or speed. Don't worry about winning every duel. Focus on applying the technique correctly, even if you lose the ball sometimes. The results catch up as it becomes automatic. Weeks 7 and 8. Add pressure and speed. Repeat the one-on-ones, but introduce time or space pressure, a defender allowed to close faster, or a smaller grid. This forces your new habits to hold up under realistic match stress, which is the entire point. Throughout all 8 weeks, do one more thing consistently. Watch match footage with purpose. Not highlight reels of skill moves, but full one-on-one duels, specifically noticing touch size, body positioning, scanning before receiving the ball, and pace changes. Training your eye to spot these details speeds up how quickly you can apply them yourself. One final thing, none of this happens overnight, and it didn't for Messi either. He's been refining these exact habits for well over 3 decades, since he was a small child in Rosario, Argentina, long before anyone outside his hometown had heard his name. What you're building here isn't a shortcut to copying a genius. It's the foundational skill set that genius was built on. And that foundation is something anyone can train, regardless of natural speed, height, or talent. Put in the repetitions. Trust the process. Next time you're in a tight one-on-one on a real pitch, you'll be surprised how differently your body responds. If this actually helped you understand the game a bit better, you know what to do. Subscribe, because there's a lot more of this coming, and the next one's going to be just as detailed. See you in the next video.